Hey, so what's going on, guys? I'd like to talk about something that has always kind of bugged me in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that people always seem to get really defensive about, is player preference, card player preference, or not even that, just player preference of even how they shuffle their deck sometimes. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game where people really get bothered, or seems to be, get really bothered when people do something different from the normal. Some examples is if you played Triple Reckless and Triple Upstart just even a year ago, you probably would have been saying that it's horrible, that's bad, and whatever. But as soon as Patrick Hoban did it now and gotten pretty far with it, and a few other people have too now, all of a sudden it's deemed okay. But if a bunch of people were doing it before who weren't topping, awful, bad, terrible. Compulse is a good example of this. Way over a year ago when Compulse was at 3, there's still videos on YouTube of people talking about that Compulse isn't that great, and that some people would only play 1, sometimes they wouldn't even play it at all. I was always playing triple Compulse, or at least I know for a fact if it wasn't triple, it was always double Compulse back then, when other people were saying it's not that great, and I was using triple to double. And then slowly it caught on. Was it because of me? No, there were other players using it too, but the broad majority of people thought Compulse was not good to only have it 1 to even none. And I thought it was amazing because Synchro and XYZs were like obvious. Why would you not compulse it? Like I did not understand why they thought they were bad compulse. All of a sudden it caught on, it was good, and now as we see, it is now only at 1. But if I think it was a while back, I think I even took it down because a lot of people got hate. I've made a deck profile way far back, or maybe I was watching somebody's deck profile. I honestly cannot remember, so bear with me. But they had 3 compulse in his deck before it was deemed okay, and they just bashed the crap out of it. Tons of people, yeah, I think it was watching somebody's video. Yeah, it was. But they bashed the crap out of the deck. And it's like, what? And now it's like, oh, Compulse is at 1. Why? Because it's actually really amazing. And that's only an example. There are tons of examples like this. But let me stop for a second and say why it's bothersome. There are some people that will give me flack because I play 1 Wave Piece and everything. Guess what? It's not an awful card. I think everybody can agree on that. It's just different from the norm, so they say, oh, put in something better than that. That is a card I like to play. It's called player preference. They have fun playing it. I guarantee if somebody started topping with, got top 32, or no, not even, got top 16 like 4 times in a row playing 1 Day in Peace in their deck, they'd be like, 1 Day in Peace, gotta play it. You are all a bunch of followers. And I'm not saying anybody specifically watching the video, I'm just saying people that do this kind of thing, you're a bunch of followers. There's no fun in copying everybody's thing. Yes, I understand copying it works, but some of those cards that people have topped with what used to be a player preference. Cards become popular because at first they're a player preference. Not always, sometimes it's just like a broad majority of everybody's like, yeah, this card's awesome, we need to play it. But then there are other cards that sneak in and they're like, yeah, this is a player preference card. This is a card that I'm gonna just play in my deck. A card that I like playing in some decks for my player preference is also a creature swap. I'm just playing at 1, I like that card, it can get you out of jams. These are some of my personal player preferences, and Memory of an Adversary has been a player preference of mine for months, and now all of a sudden it's seeing regional play. If I put that in my decks months ago, people would be like, what are you doing? And now everybody else is finding out about the card, and it's like, what? And it's not angry because I wasn't known as the person that did it, because I don't care about that at all. I just care more that people freak out about things and then until they get popular. When me, if I see somebody playing some different card, I don't freak out saying, oh, that deck's off or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna go try that rather than go, there's a reason nobody plays it, it's terrible, durr. Every player has a player preference of what cards to play. Now, yes, you might have an opinion of saying that card is too situational and I won't play it for myself, but don't go, oh wow, his deck sucks now because he plays a card that I feel is awful. And I never even feel like any card's awful unless if, like, everybody thinks the card's awful, even that person. Like, if somebody's playing a card that's a little too situational, I usually try to tell them nicely, like, hey, it's a little too situational, or I just leave it in because they have fun playing it. Which doesn't matter. That's the whole point. You have fun playing with a card. Player preference of mine a while back ago was Copycat. You don't really see anybody play Copycat. But I always had fun being able to go 1 for 1. Now, that's not as good anymore, but hey, it was still a player preference. All I'm saying is, it's kind of stupid that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is completely against new cards until somebody starts topping with it. Memory of an Adversary is an example, Compulse is an example from back in the day, and now it's just gonna be some other new cards that come out probably. I feel like Void Trap Hole is going to be the next one that starts seeing more play. This is my personal preference, but I love Void Trap Hole. I'd say 75 to 80% of the time when a monster summons for a Synchro, XYZ, or even any special summon for that matter, or Fusion, it's always going to be with 2,000 more attack. 75 to 80% of the time, even maybe more. And the cards that have less than that attack aren't usually that big of a threat. So, I think Void Trap Hole is awesome, and I've used it a bunch. It's not awesome at like 2 or 3, but playing 1 is a good card. Now, it probably won't see play in the next couple months, but I'd say within the year or 2, people are going to start picking this up and playing it because it's a good card. Hey guys, that's my rant for the day. Let me know what your personal player preferences are and what you think about people freaking out about cards that they think are good, player preference cards. But yeah, let me know yours, and I'll see you later, guys. Peace!